hours.
Now I can what?
It says now you can now put people in lengths ranging from 10 seconds to 24 hours.
Time out? Where are we, in like 3rd grade?
Do you want me to click got it?
Yeah, click got it.
Alright, you're going.
Is it going?
Yep.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it's recording too.
It is recording? Mm-hmm. Let me double check. Still learning this whole live thing. Look at that, it is recording. I'll be dead. Oh boy. Gee whiz. Sorry guys. Trying to get this volume thing here figured out. I got another setup over here so I can see the live chat. So if anybody's talking or on there, I can answer questions. But hey, welcome to a live video. I'm going to be trying to do a few more of these. Tell me if you like this format or not. So if there's questions or whatever, just put them in the comments down there below, and I will do my best to answer them as we go through this. But just want to give you a little bit of talk a little bit about something. Thinking about like a garage talk, you know, once a week or something like that. And today's topic is the battery on the TW200. Now I'm making a video right now, and well, obviously this one, but I'm making another one. I was out riding the other day and rode around for a while and whatnot, and then came home, and as I was in the backyard, I went to start the bike again, and nothing. So normally when I've done that, yeah, want to go fishing, KLX 230, that's not a TW. That's right, it's not the TW, this is the KLX. This is something else I'm going to talk about here in just a little bit, so bear with me, be with me there for a sec. But going back to the battery on the TW, the battery, you know, I go to hit the start button and nothing. Now, normally when that's happened with the other bikes that I've dealt with, the terminals, the good gravy, the battery cables on the terminals are loose. So I pulled the seat off, checked those, and they were both tight. And as I pulled the rubber boot off of the positive side of the battery, there's a whole bunch of corrosion. So I took some baking soda and water, cleaned off the battery terminal, the post, everything, and got that all cleaned up and put the bike on the charger. Well, I've had it on the charger for quite a while, and there has not been any difference. As soon as I hit that start button, I lose everything. So I'm thinking the battery on the bike is dead. Now this is what I want to talk about today. With those batteries, they are a lead acid battery, which means when you buy those batteries, normally they have an acid pack that you have to put into the battery. And there's a few reasons I'm not a fan of those. So comment down below if you like those batteries or not. But the lead acid batteries, one, when you install the acid, the battery is not fully charged, which I understand. But when you install the acid, you have to put the battery on the charger until you are at full capacity, 100%, and it takes a little bit longer, which obviously, you know, patience is a virtue. But with those batteries, it requires waiting for, you know, the battery to charge back up. So if you're out somewhere like I was yesterday, if I was just out and about and I went and bought a lead acid battery, I couldn't just pull the old one out and put that one in and take off down the road. With my Harley, I had that one time. I was up at the top of a canyon. We were on a big old group ride, and as I was leaving the parking lot, my starter did the same thing. It wouldn't start, nothing. So I ended up coasting all the way down the mountain road, and I came into town, and the Harley batteries are different, you know, the ones that come stock are different than the TW batteries. Again, the TWs are lead acid, and the Harley battery that I have is an AGM style, which stands for absorbed glass mat, which we won't get into all that terminology, but the AGM style batteries come pre-charged, and you can just pull the old one out, put a new one in, hit the starter, you're good to go. For the TW, I haven't really been able to find one of those AGM style batteries, and I'm not completely sold. Let's see, how old was the battery? The new batteries do not last any time at all. Bought a lithium ion that has held up pretty well to this point, but had to buy a special charger, only downfall. Okay, want to go fishing? That's what I wanted to get to next. So this battery, I installed this battery not that long ago. So the bike's 2021. I believe I got this battery at the beginning of the year, maybe February, March-ish. And I went with a lead acid style because I couldn't find an AGM style that fit. And the lithium ion is what I wanted to talk about next. So want to go fishing, you mentioned that the lithium ion is held up, which is great. I've heard that with the batteries, but the downfall, like you mentioned, is that you have to have a specific charger for the lithium ion style batteries. Now, I've got, let me take a look here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 motorcycles in here, and the majority of them do not have lithium ion batteries. So with those batteries, it's nice to just have a regular trickle charger that I can plug in to each one of them. So I've got pigtails, and those pigtails, when I mention a pigtail, basically it's a connector that you can connect to the battery posts, and then you can have that somewhere on, you can have that little pigtail or that other connector hanging somewhere off your bike, and you can just plug your charger right into it, and it works, extremely well. So I've got the pigtails on these bikes, but that one, I was certain that the battery cables were loose. And when I saw how tight they were and I saw the corrosion on there, I was like, oh man. So when it comes to the batteries, I guess the question is, lead acid I'm not a big fan of. Do I go with an AGM style or try to find an AGM style? Or if you have found an AGM style, can you let me know what it is or where to find it? Or if, like the local auto stores have it, so whether that be, O'Reilly or Napa or whatever, if they have those batteries, let me know, because I would much rather go out. That's like a battery per year. Yeah, pretty much. Square Body Shelly, Kurt, glad to see you're on here. But it is. It's like, it is a battery per year. But that's the other thing too, is those lead acid batteries are the cheapest of all three options. So you've got the lead acid, and then you've got the AGM, and then you have the lithium ion. So, want to go fishing? Answer me this question. Is the lithium ion worth the money? Because that is going to be our most expensive option. If you see me looking down, I'm reading the live chat as we go. So, when it comes to the batteries, one, what do you prefer? Is it worth just keeping the lead acid? Is it worth going to an AGM, or is it worth going with the lithium ion? Now, one other downfall with the lead acid battery is with that acid in there, there's a vent hose that comes off the battery. And if you tip the bike, that acid has a really good chance of running out and down that drain tube or whatever. So I was working on a few wheelers one time, and the lead acid battery that came with the bike was actually installed at an angle. That's the way the battery tray sat. And if you ever got that, to a certain angle, that acid would come out and actually go into the battery box. Now, if you're not familiar with battery acid, it is very corrosive and it can eat the metal. So that's one thing. That's one thing to consider too. With the AGM style, you've got a lot more variance on the angles that you can have. And with the lithium ion, I've seen that you can basically have the bike upside down and it wouldn't be a big issue. So, topic here, batteries. What do you prefer? Why? And what, if you were to recommend one for everybody, what would it be? And if you even have a part number from a specific brand, why don't you put that in the comments as well, so that we can hopefully all go and find that. So I'm going to do a little bit of digging and see what I can come up with, but I'm pretty sure my battery on my 2021 TW is shot, and this is at least the second, maybe even the third battery on there. So want to go fishing, you've said, has been so far. $149 for the battery, and the charger was 60 bucks. The battery is also smaller, so I had to use the provided foam to make it stay in place. Okay, Dave Chris, I think T-Dub's kid runs a lithium-ion battery as well. I think you're right. So Dave Chris mentioned T-Dub's kid runs a lithium-ion battery. Want to go fishing, has a lithium-ion. He said the battery was $149. You know what? That's actually not that much more expensive than the AGM style batteries that I've seen for, you know, these smaller displacement bikes. I've seen them right around the $100 range. So $149 isn't that much. So want to go fishing. I appreciate you being here in this conversation and with the insight with the lithium ion battery. So now here's a question with that as well that I'm not 100% certain on. Is the lithium ion charger universal for all lithium ion batteries, like, you know, the charger is for these AGM style batteries and the lead acid batteries? Because if they are, it might be worth making a little bit of an investment and changing these out. So that's one thing. I'm not the biggest fan of the lead style batteries, so I'll leave it at that. So moving on to point number 2, making sure no other comments have come up on here. Oh, here we go. Any known issues, extreme heat or freezing temps? So SP Rancho, are you talking about with the lithium ion battery or with the lead acid battery or with the AGM style? Because I know with the AGM and with the lead acid, I have seen the lead acid batteries freeze and crack. And with the AGM style batteries, I've actually seen those explode. So I think that was due to extreme heat. I've seen some crack in extreme cold. So that's a really good question. Lithium. Okay, Esperanto is asking about the lithium. So want to go fishing. Do you know of any known issues like with the lithium ion battery in extreme heat or extreme cold? Like, is there a range of which they are safe to use and conditions in which they are unsafe to use? JT in Georgia, sweet, thanks for joining this conversation. JT in Georgia says, my lithium ion battery does not do well in cold. How cold does it get in Georgia? I mean, here in Utah, I know we get way cold, but in Georgia, how cold does it get over there? So that's a good question. We're, you know, good to know. Lithium ion doesn't do well in the cold. Let's see. Okay, JT is saying it does get in the teens. Well, that's good to know because it gets in the teens here all the time when it's basically from November to April. So that whole month range, that whole 6 months range, we've got a little bit. Let's see. I love this. Want to go fishing? Thanks for answering. I believe mine was, sadly not at home, but as soon as I get back, I'll take a look and send the info on the battery and the charger. I bought the battery in the middle of last year. I live in Virginia. Sweet. Okay, so want to go fishing? Rod, join this too. You ride a lot, so you shouldn't have an issue with the battery charging. Is bike charging the battery? I run cheap Amazon batteries and maybe ride 3 times a year, but change batteries monthly and don't have an issue. Okay. That's good to know too. Yes, so the bike is charging the battery. I took it out yesterday and it was working just fine. You know, with the bump start, everything on there was going good. So the crazy thing is the battery charger that I've got plugged into it right now is not. The battery is not charging from that. I know the charger is good because I've used it on some other machines. But I will do a stator output test. So for those who are wondering, to figure that out, when the bike is running, you can take your DVOM or your voltage meter and you can plug it into the positive and the negative terminal, And as the bike is running, normally your battery wants to be 12.69 to 12.7 volts. With the bike running, just at an idle, you're going to be about 13 volts is where the stator output should be. And then as you rev the bike up, you're going to watch that voltage climb up a little bit. Now you don't want it to go above 15. If it goes above 15, you know your voltage regulator is shot. And if it's not even, like if your battery voltage isn't moving as you've got the bike in idle or revving up, then your stator is shot. Correct me if I'm wrong. Perhaps checks for parasitic draw. Do that too, Rod. That's a good point also to see, because I do have, actually no, I don't have the light bar on that one. The light bar is on my 2019, so I don't have anything other than stock on there, but I can do a parasitic draw test. Here's some good video ideas, Rod. We'll get those going here in the next couple days, just to show kind of what's going on here. McCoy, I had a lithium-ion battery in my TW, and it was all right. I live in Wyoming. Yeah, you understand cold. I live in Wyoming, and it gets really cold some of those days, and it would have a hard time starting off the electric start. Yuasa, Gary, thank you. The Yuasa MB7CA. Perfect. Now with that Yuasa, Gary, is that an AGM style battery, or is that a lead acid battery where you got to put the acid in and charge it? Ray, don't like the OEM lead acid. Been using lithium on my dubs for years. No issues, hot or cold. Would like to find one on the same physical size as the original. That would be a big battery, Ray. That would be a big lithium battery. I think it'd be a little bit, way big. Let's see. Want to go fishing? Doesn't get too cold here. I keep the charger on it through the winter. Original battery, acid battery, only lasted a year and 10 months from when I purchased the bike. That makes sense. So, but that's the crazy thing is, I think the battery on my 2019 is still okay. I might have changed it actually. I can't remember. I'd have to go and look. So, anyways, as far as the battery stuff goes, thank you everybody for putting that in there. Rod, I will do those other tests. Now, I have shown those tests on my Harley. So, once this is all done, I can actually show those, the voltage test from the stator. I can show that video, or I have that video that I've done on the Harley, so if you're interested, I'll put that in the description once this is all done and show that test. But the parasitic draw test, I will do that and get that, on the channel. So if you do have extra accessories on the bike, well, even if it's just stock, we'll show both. So the Yuasa, oh sweet, Gary, thank you. The Yuasa MB7CA is AGM. Perfect. There we go. That's what, and now, so that should fit perfectly in the battery box. It shouldn't have any issues. That should be the battery that, according to Gary, which Gary, I appreciate you putting in the inside in there, that should be the battery that goes for the TW. So, let's see, making sure we're getting everybody's comments answered in here and those who are talking with us. Perfect. Now, we'll get those tests done. We'll get that all set up. So all those who have commented in here, I appreciate it. Now the second thing, let's see who mentioned it. Want to go fishing? KLX 230, that's not a TW. That's exactly right. The KLX 230S is, again, which it has been since January of this year, is up for sale. My 68 Chevy C10 still has a battery from 2012. Still fine. Who knows why? That's good to know. McCoy, I now work in a Harley technician shop, and those stators and regulators from the stock Harleys don't seem to last too long. Hopefully yours are more reliable. Evo will stand the test of time. Dude, my Evo, that thing is awesome. I love it. I have not had to replace the stator yet. I have actually replace the voltage regulator, which is what that video was all about, because the connector broke. So there were times when the battery would charge and times when it wouldn't, which was really throwing me off. And I actually found that one of the little prongs in the connector was broken. So that's why we went to that, and that's why that video was made. So again, I'll post that in the description. Now, second thing, real quick, the KLX 230S is for sale. Now, I did a video not long ago, well, actually it was a while ago, on the used TW prices and why I bought 2 new TWs. The used prices on the TWs were crazy. They were insane. They still are insane, and they're not too far off from what a brand new a brand new TW is. So here's the question. I still owe a little bit on the bike. Well, obviously, I mean, a little bit more, because just like everybody else, there were dealer fees tacked in there. There was all the paperwork fees tacked in there. So I was out the door on this 2022 KLX 230S. I was out the door $6,200. Now these are listed right now, if I'm not mistaken, for $51.99 or $50.99. I can't remember exactly. So I paid $1,200, you know, in the dealer fees and everything. Supposed to be perfect fit UASA MB. Sweet. Thanks, Gary. I appreciate it. Now I paid, like I said, about $1,200 with the destination charge and the dealership fees and the paperwork and the taxes and title licensing, all that stuff. So here's the thing. When I put the bike up for sale, do I, which I already not commented, but I made a video on the dealer fees, all that stuff. Do I sell the bike for what I owe, or do I sell the bike or list the bike? Excuse me, not sell, but list it. Do I list it at whatever the market value is, or do I include those tax, title, licensing, and all that stuff in there? So Square Body Shelly and I have talked. Let's see, I was thinking of getting an Evo. Okay. We'll get to that comment there in just a second, McCoy. So do I sell it with for what I owe, or do I eat that and sell it or list it, excuse me. Do I list it at what I owe, or do I list it at whatever the market value is? I think there's a little over 600 miles on it now, but the KLX is for sale, and I've had it for sale for a while, and there has not been one little bit of interest in it. So we'll see. But put in the comments down below, do you think that I should add all the dealer stuff in there, or do you think that I should list it for, you know, just cut my losses and list it for whatever the used market value on the KLX 230S would be? So Anthony, thanks for chiming in. Market value, okay. Kawasaki, Yamaha, and Honda are the worst for dealer add-on fees. Suzuki is the least, but marks the price of the bike up to make up for it. There we go. Anthony, if you can make your money back, do so. If not, eat the fees and sell to a friend. That's the thing, none of my friends want to buy it. Get quoted out the door price on a new T-Dub. Austin is $6,200, outrageous destination assembly fees. You know what? I wonder. I know that a lot of them don't sell them straight out of the crate, but I'd prefer to do the setup on my own. So yeah, we'll look at that. Okay, thank you all of you for commenting on that. McCoy, I was thinking of getting an Evo Harley, but got a Honda VTX 1800 instead. To this day, I have not found another 17-year-old on a VTX 1800. Did have to sell the TW to a friend to pay it. Gotcha. I haven't had good luck selling at the market value by KBB. I'd say go the in-between and get what you can get. The bike has low enough miles. Oh, Facebook Marketplace would come around to a good deal. Okay, that's one thing. I don't have it listed on Facebook Marketplace either, so we'll have to see what we can do there and get it listed. But anyways, thank you guys for chiming in on all this stuff. I appreciate it, and I will take your recommendations and just see, list it, you know, find the market value on it, list it, see what we can get out of it, put it on Facebook. Now out here in Utah, we do have the KSL classifieds, so I'll put it on there as well and see what we can get out of it. But yeah, so thank you again for all the information on the battery. If you're watching this video afterwards, check the comments because there is the AGM style battery from Yuasa in there. And want to go fishing, if you don't mind, when you get a second, if you would just let us know what lithium ion battery you bought so that we can have that information in there as well. And then I can actually go in and I can find that and I can put links in the description. So if you're watching this video later, the links should be in the description. Look in the comments and see what other folks have said, and we'll go from there. So thanks for joining. If you want to have more videos like this where it's just me and you in the comments, let me know. This is just straight up garage talk with parts for the TW, you know, putting the KLX up for sale and just other garage talk topics. Put in, you know, in the comments what other topics you'd like to just sit down and chat about, or if there's some question that you have, let us know so that we can do those as well. And I've been told that my supper's ready, so I'm going to go in and eat. I'm Matt. This is MOBStreet. Thanks to everybody that put this in here or that commented here in the comments. I greatly appreciate it, and we'll see you in the next one. I'm Matt. This is MOBStreet. Thanks for watching.